The Magic Garden. Early one morning, a farmer was awakened by the sound of someone knocking on his door. When he opened it, he saw his friend and neighbor, the shepherd. The man looked most upset. "Woe is me," the shepherd cried. "Last night, bandits broke into my barn and stole all my sheep. How will I make a living now?" The farmer sighed sadly. Bandits were unfortunately common in that part of Kazakhstan. He was determined to help his neighbor in his time of need. "Do not worry," he said. "I have plenty of land, and I will give you half of it so that you can start your own farm." The shepherd thanked the farmer for his generosity. He began plowing the soil on his new farm so he could plant crops. After he had been working for many hours, his plow hit something hard in the ground. The shepherd dug it out and discovered that it was a vase full of gold coins. Someone must have buried it many years ago. The shepherd carried the jar to the house of his friend the farmer. "Look what I found in the land you gave me," he told the farmer. "This belongs to you." But the farmer would not hear of it. "Oh no, my friend," he insisted, "I gave you the land and everything in it. Keep this treasure." The shepherd frowned. "I can't keep something that is not rightfully mine." The two could not agree, so they decided to go to the town's wise man. He was at home, teaching his 4 students. The farmer and the shepherd told the wise man about their problem. The old man stroked his gray beard and smiled. "Why don't we ask my students what they think? If neither of these friends will accept the gold, then what should we do with it?" "It came from the ground," said the first student, "so it should be buried back in the ground." "No, the 2 men brought it to our teacher," said the second. "He should keep the money." "I disagree," said the third. "This land is ruled by the Khan, so the coins should be given to him." The wise man shook his head, disappointed. "It seems that I have not taught you wisdom." The 4th student had not yet said anything. He thought carefully about the problem before he spoke. "If neither the shepherd nor the farmer will accept the money," he said, "then we should use it to create a wonderful garden here in town. In it, people who have no homes could rest on the grass, drink cool water from the streams and eat fruit from the trees. It is they who need these things the most." The wise man nodded, and the shepherd and the farmer agreed that this was a fine idea. They handed the money from the vase to the 4th student. "As you came up with the idea of the garden of the poor, you should buy the seeds for it. Go and purchase them in the city." So the 4th student picked up his bag and set off, weighed down with gold coins. The road was long and dusty, but the student passed the time by imagining how wonderful the garden would be. As the young man walked past a merchant's cart, he saw that it was filled with cages. In the cages were dozens of birds from all over the world: eagles and quails and swans and parrots and flamingos and owls and pelicans. All the birds looked miserable and bedraggled. "Where are you taking them?" he asked the merchant. "Oh, they are for the eldest son of the Khan," said the merchant. "He collects birds of all kinds." The student could not stand to see the birds being so miserable. "Please, let me buy them from you," he said to the merchant. The man laughed. "How can you afford it? They are worth 1,000 gold coins." The student showed him the gold he was carrying, and the merchant took it in return for the birds. The young man opened the cages and set the birds free. They stretched their wings and fluffed their feathers before flapping and fluttering away into the sky. It made the student very happy to see them go, but then he realized what he had done. "Oh no," he said, "I don't have any money left to get seeds for the garden. What a fool I have been." He felt most upset as he trudged back to his hometown. When he arrived, he went to the place where the garden was supposed to be planted. "Now it will never even exist, thanks to me," he thought ruefully. Just then, something flew up and landed on his shoulder. It was a finch, and it held a tiny seed in its beak. As he watched, the little bird planted the seed in the soil. There was the whir of many wings, and dozens of the birds he had set free landed nearby. All of them held seeds, which they carefully buried in the earth. Pelicans and flamingos arrived with their beaks filled with water. They used it to water the seeds. As the student watched in wonder, shoots grew from the soil, and they were tended by the birds. They grew into bushes and trees before his eyes. He was sure that there was magic at work here, but he did not know what kind. The garden was a most amazing place. It had cool streams, lush meadows, and green trees whose branches were heavy with fruit. A thick hedge sprouted out of the soil around the garden. There was an open gate in it. Word soon spread about this magical place. Merchants and noblemen alike wanted to see it and claim it as their own. They came there on horses and camels and in carriages, looking forward to seeing the garden's many wonders. But when they tried to enter, the gate slammed shut in their faces and locked itself with 7 locks. They were forced to wait outside, angry and frustrated. Some days later, a group of beggars and humble workers arrived on foot, for they had no other means of transport. The gate unlocked itself for them. They ventured inside to bathe in the streams, enjoy the tasty fruit and find peace beneath the shady trees. The wise man patted his student on the shoulder. "Well done, young man," he said. "This garden is truly special, for it gives peace and joy to those who need it most, and no man shall ever own it."